Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. I am Jessica Lauretti, the Managing Director of the Anthem Awards. I am so excited to be with you all today. This is our favorite time of the week where we have amazing humans from all over the world come on and tell us about the work that they're doing across all of the causes that we honor. If you're not familiar with the Anthem Awards, we are brought to you by the Webbies, and we are the largest award that honors purpose and mission-driven work from brands, organizations, and individuals all around the world. We are currently in our second season, and we have an extended entry deadline that closes tomorrow, Friday, October 21st. So if you are out there watching this and you or someone you know is doing incredible projects on anything from human rights, civil rights, health, arts and culture, responsible technology, climate and diversity, equity, inclusion. We want to see the work that you're doing, and we hope that you will enter and become a part of our community. Again, we have the deadline is tomorrow, Friday, October 21st. And everything you need to know is on our website at anthemawards.com. We have a customer service team who is here and happy to help you with any questions you may have about entering the award. You can reach out to her at kara@anthemawards.com. Okay, so let's get started with the Impact Series this week. We have an amazing guest. We have Mai Nguyen, who is the Managing Director of Growth and Work & Co. Thank you so much for being with us. How are you today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. Super excited about this.
Where are you joining us from? Where are you in the world?
New York. I'm in New York where it's super sunny, but also a bit frigid, and we're getting into winter.
We're having a crisp day here in New York. That's right. It's feeling very autumnal. Well, thank you so much for being with us. First, let me just say congratulations for Work & Co. being one of our inaugural winners. Tell us about the work that you do there and the mission of the company and kind of what you're working on. Tell us your story.
Yeah, so first, a little bit about the company itself, since some folks might not know Work & Co. We're a design and tech company that works with brands to build digital products and services, things like mobile apps, e-commerce platforms, and chatbots. I'm the managing director at the company and lead growth, which means I work super closely with project and leadership teams to identify the types of companies and brands we want to work with, but also those that we're most excited about. Something I like to say here is we wear our hearts on our sleeves. Our portfolio of work really reflects what matters most to us, whether it's getting a coffee quicker and easier, creating an experience that lets people work out wherever they are, or even making in-store shopping experiences a little less painful, a little more delightful. And of course, I also oversee a part of the company called the Work & Co Fund, which is why we're here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, amazing. The Work & Co Fund, it was one of our inaugural winners. So can you tell us about that? What is the fund? How does it work? What kind of projects do you take on?
So the Work & Co Fund supports pro bono and cause-based efforts aimed at helping improve society and the world at large. It exists to enable our company and all of the people within it to have a positive impact on our world through the work that we do. We think having great projects for our team to work on is paramount for us. It's why people come to Work & Co. So we created a dedicated unit within our business to really invest in the areas that energize our people and also add to the pride that they have in working at our company.
Amazing. So what are some of the projects that the fund takes on? Tell us about that. And how does it work?
Yeah, so it isn't so much defined by sector or scope. It's really defined by the people at Work & Co. Our people want to get involved in coming up with solutions for real world problems, those that surround them and even keep them up at night. So a few examples are, we have a number of parents at our company. And so when sex ed was being deprioritized and sexual health clinics being defunded, we worked together with Planned Parenthood to create an AI tool that reaches teenagers where they are, which is on their phones, of course, and helps answer their open questions about sex. Another example is if there's some of us who are loved ones of cancer survivors. And that really came through in our work reimagining breastcancer.org site to become the ultimate guide for patient care at every stage and for every type of breast cancer. And also, we're a part of a larger community. So in response to the racial injustices in 2020, we allocated $1 million to support companies specifically focused on advancement in the Black community. That's led us to projects across economic empowerment, criminal justice reform, and voter access.
Yeah, this is amazing. Incredible dedication to that work. So it sounds like your team and just like a proactive fund where members of your team are passionate and interested about specific subject areas, and then you kind of go out to find nonprofit partners to work with and create products and solutions. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct. And we formalized the fund. A lot of the projects were coming from within areas of interest that people were most excited about, areas of interest that they were also taking a part of outside of work. So there's one part of it. And then we've also really formalized the fund so that we could really signal to the world that this exists and get people to reach out to us for causes, for areas that we weren't possibly in the know of or we weren't already involved in.
Wow, awesome. So talk about one of your projects is the Giving Gap, which was also a winner in the inaugural Anthem Awards. And the CEO, Alexandra, is a judge, is a part of our academy. So we're so happy to have her and the Giving Gap as part of our community. Tell us about that project, how it got started, was built, how it empowers Black-funded nonprofits.
Yeah, so I'll start with some background. Americans give about $450 billion to charity every year, and only a tiny fraction of that goes to Black-founded organizations. So Giving Gap was born to solve the problem of awareness for these organizations. And these are the organizations that are most likely to employ Black people, serve Black communities, and empower Black leaders. So we work together with Giving Gap to build a brand and a digital experience that drives donations to Black-founded nonprofits. There is the goal of just making sure that they were as well funded as white-founded counterparts.
So do you know, like, why is that? What is the context behind the gap there? I mean, is it similar to other industries or?
So a lot of it's around awareness. And that's what a lot of the work at Giving Gap focused on, which is how do you raise this kind of awareness? And Giving Gap was the first of its kind to do so. And it's this awareness around, it's a lack of awareness around Black-founded nonprofits.
Right.
And it's a lack of awareness around disproportionate giving that happens across different nonprofits. So what we wanted to do was make sure that we were bringing these Black nonprofits to the forefront and making sure that they were reaching a wider audience and they were able to connect with audiences that would drive them to ultimately give to them. And make sure that there was a place like when 2020, there was a huge surge of people who wanted to donate towards these causes, towards these types of organizations as well, towards Black-founded nonprofits, and they weren't able to find them. And so we worked together with Giving Gap to quickly spin up this digital platform so that there was a place to find them. There was a place to be able to donate. So we now are about to cross 1,000 different nonprofit organizations on this platform.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, I mean, I think that's like one of the biggest challenges just of the internet, right? Is like finding stuff. How do you find stuff? And I'd imagine that a lot of times, something happens in the world, there could be like a big news story, or there's obviously the conflict in Ukraine, or the protests that are happening in Iran, and, people want to do something around a specific thing, and they just, sort of Google that and find it, but it definitely takes a little bit more work to really understand the philanthropic space and, where like meaningful places that you can give. It's so cool. Talk about the lasting impact that really has on philanthropy and that space of individuals really being able to contribute in meaningful ways.
I think like the impact it has on philanthropy is really just raising that awareness. It's raising the awareness around that, the disproportionate levels between different types of nonprofits. It's also raising the awareness between the diversity of nonprofits. And then also, I think a big part of it is realizing that there is this power to the association between Black-founded nonprofits and this greater impact in the world, which is employing Black people. It is tapping into Black communities, empowering those communities, empowering the leaders of those as well. So I think that it shifts the tone, it shifts the focus of this exists. We're bringing that to the surface. And that in and of itself is, I think, going to change the game for philanthropy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's incredible. Awesome, amazing project. Now, talk to us a little bit about the work more generally that Work & Co does. And when you're working with a nonprofit organization to build tech products, are there like different or important considerations or things that you all are thinking about and doing as you develop and build those?
So regardless of type, size, or scale of the organization, we always aim to build and launch an experience that's best in class. We know the type of impact a winning product can have, both for the organization as well as the people they're trying to reach. So really, when we work with nonprofits, it's in the same way we do working with the likes of Apple, Mercedes, IKEA. But I realize that's a bit of a non-answer, Jess, so I'll share a couple of considerations that we've just discussed internally on our side that we take into account. One of them is that nonprofits don't often have complex internal tech teams, and we're not in the business of building something that ultimately proves to be impossible to maintain. That doesn't actually set these companies up for success. So when we work with these nonprofits, we work with them to define a solution and create products that best accommodate them and take their bandwidth capabilities and workflow into account. And similar, but also somewhat different, is considering the fact that their internal bandwidth and structuring is considering their internal bandwidth. And we want to structure our process and our ways of working around that. Our partners over at nonprofits are usually wearing multiple hats, and they have these really important day jobs that we want them to be able to focus on. Their type of work is so important in this world. We don't want to take them away from that, and there's only 8 hours in the day. So we flex our approach to collaboration to ensure that we're staying in step along the way. We're able to get their input, we're able to get their time, but at the same time, respect their mental capacity, respect their bandwidth, respect the fact that they have so much else to do. So we want to make sure that there's a fine balance between how much we need from them versus how much we can run with this on our own.
Yeah, that's great to think about for anyone who's collaborating with nonprofit organizations, really understanding how their organizations work and what some of the folks are there are working on and doing, and trying to push ideas or technology or products and stuff that won't really work, or or like maybe just second thought to when you're working on some of the most pressing issues of the time, refugees or, food insecurity, all kinds of things, climate crisis that people are working on, and how that relationship works. That's really insightful. Thanks for sharing that. Tell us about, you have another project, the Diversity and Design Project. What is this all about, and what is the role that it plays within your organization and within the design space?
Yeah, so a bit about the collective. We know design is a predominantly white industry. Research shows only 3 to 5% of designers are Black. So to address this, a collective of organizations, all with design at the core of their mission, came together to create opportunities to make a change in the representation across our industry. So together, we pledged to collaborate to create events, resources, hiring, inclusion practices that help shift that number. And beyond committing to the mission of the collective, Work & Co tapped into the Work & Co Fund to design and build the digital platform for the collective to share its mission, key insights, and upcoming initiatives. So since launching in the last summer, DID's hosted career events and generated mentorship opportunities for Black designers, bringing the next generation of Black talent into the talent pool. And the collective continues to work to expose a diverse talent pool to opportunities in the design industry and create opportunities for new talent to network, learn, and ultimately enter our industry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's amazing. How did you all decide to start that?
So it was actually started by a company called Miller Knoll, and there's a number of other companies as a part of it. So when they had reached out, it was a discussion that's been happening internally within Work & Co. So when this was formalized, it took us less than a second to say, yes, we want to be a part of it. And also let's leverage our expertise in our offering to help build that platform and think about how do we get this platform in front of people and how do we make sure that it's a resource for both the talent and the companies.
Right. Yeah. Amazing. Okay. So what's next for Work & Co? What could we expect to see from you all? What are you working on?
So in our latest phase, we're proactively seeking projects that address climate change, public health, and immigration law. Again, this all comes back to things that are causes and areas that matter most to people at Work & Co and areas that they want to find solutions in. But kind of going back to those principles, it continues to be about what's meaningful for our team. So while climate change and public health and immigration law are absolutely critical for us, we've also realized that the world is changing. So this list is always ever evolving based on different factors of what's happening in the world around us.
Yeah, awesome. Tell people where they can find out more information and follow the work that you all are doing.
Yeah, so a bit of like a dry plug. It's definitely go to our site. All of it's captured on our site. We've got a couple of our case studies as it relates to the fund-related work, and also just general case studies in our work for hire. And you'll see that there is a lot of parity in terms of we have our work on both sides really informing the other. So the website's work.co, keeping it real simple.
Work.co. Okay, that makes it real easy. Yeah. Okay, well, thank you so much for being with us today and sharing more about what you're working on. And just thank you for all the work that you're doing in the design and product and tech community. Congratulations again on being an inaugural winner.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. And we love having these types of conversations, and we love having new conversations. So it's great to really share more about Work & Co and our work as it relates to the fund. And hopefully we'll be crossing paths again, Jess.
Yeah, hope so. Thank you everyone for being with us today. If you haven't entered your work yet, you have about 36 more hours. So get your entries in at anthemawards.com. Again, the entry site will be open till tomorrow at 11:59 p.m. Pacific time. So you have a couple hours, extra hours if you're on the East Coast. And everything's at anthemawards.com. Our customer service team is here if you need help with, picking categories or just understanding the entry process. So we hope you'll be a part of our community. Thank you again, Mai, for being with us. And we'll be back next week with another Impact series. So thank you, everyone. See you soon.